All right. So I'm Jamie Wilkinson, and in the arts, I am mainly a sound technician, but I have been various other things.
What other things?
So I used to work for 10 Feet Tall. So I started at 10 Feet Tall, giving out flyers in the. My son's just coming upstairs, so I'm just like shutting the door so he doesn't come in.
He's allowed in. I thought it's another permissions form though.
Yeah, he's not coming in. He'll just ask me a stupid question.
I thought you were going to grab a flyer there and be like, what are these?
Oh, gone. So what I started off, I was doing flyering outside Teesside University for something, and then it kind of progressed that I think I got told that I dressed famous. I don't know what that is. I think I used to wear tight jeans, and people used to think like it was a bit of a entrepreneur wearing tight jeans, but it wasn't that. It's just that my legs are that skinny, that my waist is that skinny that I needed. I don't know. Anyway,
you don't need
so
to justify skinny
to,
jeans. They were popular at one point, and
yeah, apparently I still wear them now, even if they are popular. But whatever. So yeah, I went on to there to do. I was went into promoting, and then I started. So I guess the main thing I did, I was sort of one of the main, like the first people who started Sumo Corner House. So it was me and Phil Saunders who kind of ran that, and then I moved on to DJing. I was obviously in a band playing gigs and whatever, and then I moved on to being a sound engineer, just by giving people a hand when they were short staffed, because I was at music college and whatever. So I was just looking to do something with that. So yeah, I guess I was some sort of flyering bitch doing.
You fell into the industry like many others.
I was a runner at like Music Live, so I've done all sorts of stuff: stage managing, promoting. I went through a period of booking bands for Uncle Albert's just before it kind of closed, which is probably one of the hardest jobs I've ever done in my life because people didn't want to go. But then pretty much for the past, so I'm now 35, 20, I don't know, maybe 17 years, 18 years, I've been a sound engineer. That's about it, really.
A weird question, maybe specifically with sound engineering, but do you have any influences or like inspirations?
As sound engineering?
Yeah.
So I had a guy who I worked at Pigpen with. Well, there's two of them actually. So there's a guy called Alex Morris who owned Pigpen, and his ability or his approach to sound engineering was what kind of sort of, I would say, crafted how I approach sound engineering. So it was, you would always what Alex would always do, he would always listen to a band first before he started turning the band up. I think sometimes a lot of people make mistakes where they'll just turn things up and then they're trying to mix loud before they even hear what a venue sounds like. So I think Alex Morris is probably, and obviously I learned pretty much everything I know off Nathan Stevenson. I mean, me and Nath used to play golf 4 times a week and then talk sound stuff or whatever, and then sit in his house and listen to records, whatever. So weirdly, I think, lots of people think you've got like the people who like being like the guy who developed Metallica's sound. He basically, he created the round and things like that. And
Lars.
Yeah, definitely not Lars. But I've always been obsessed with how things sound. So I think like lots of people get involved in like the tech side of stuff. So my theory side of stuff on sound engineering is nowhere near what other people's will be. But my ability to sculpt the sound is different because I'm more interested in how something sounds and how something complements it. So although my theory's not there, I've definitely got a different edge of where I come into. And then there's various other people around the areas that locally who've inspired me really, but I don't really get inspired by like the big superstar engineers because it's not really what bothers me, but or what motivates me. It's people like around me that I see doing good things, and I take little bits from them. So yeah, it's generally, but the two people is Alex Morris and Nathan, who definitely inspired me to be better at what I do.
Class. I think they're great people. Why do you think the creative arts are important? Now you can answer this personally to yourself, or you can speak about it in a more like general tongue.
One thing I I mean, I have a day job now where I work in a factory with loads of lads. I mean, I've been there for nearly 10 years, and the generation has changed from, the older, more like your British Steel type of person to there's a much younger type of person that working there now. And one of the things I used to encounter is people don't think it's a real job. Um, but what they don't realize is everything you do is to do with the arts. So I used to I'd relate to that job where we'd get to do a job, we'd have paperwork. Now, to get paperwork, someone has to design that paperwork. So somebody has to have the thought process as an artist to design that paperwork. So I'd say, well, you don't realize that this actually involves it. And they talk about a TV show they'd like. I say, well, who do you think wrote the soundtrack to that film? Well, I don't know. I said, well, it's somebody who's involved in the arts. So that I think it's such a creative environment that people don't realize how much influence it has on their life. They think it's not a proper job. But I think it's so incredibly important to people that people often overlook how important it is. But yeah, I've found solace in certain records that has made me feel better about my day. I think my battery went on 10%. Yeah. I definitely found solace in music that's made me reevaluate my life. So I think it's so important to people from like a mental health aspect, or just getting away from like whatever they're going through or whatever they're having to deal with, or sharing a moment with someone. And I think that without the arts, it just doesn't. I can't ever imagine a world without it. It'd just be too quiet, or like it'd just be really boring.
Too quiet is the thing, isn't it, when it comes to music?
Yeah, I don't know. It'd just be really quiet. But
just for time's sake, because you're actually talking more than me, which is incredible. It's the first time it's ever happened in my life.
Yeah, what's something?
How has lockdown affected your work? I know how, but you tell everyone.
So, it's dead, completely dead. I'm trying to keep in touch with people. I'm lucky that I've got a day job, so I'm okay financially. But do I miss it? I work like 60 hours a week sometimes, and going and doing shifts on a Friday and Saturday night, or all day Saturdays, sometimes is a bit of a pain in the ass. But it's completely done and dead in the water, which I'm sort of. There's going to be either nothing when lockdown happened, we finally come out of this, whatever we're going on, or there's going to be a plethora of jobs. I think one thing is going to happen is, especially in the tech world, I think because it's such a fickle environment where you might not know your day, what's going to come in day to day for job wise or money wise. People might have had to look for a more substantial income, more reliable. Because generally tech work or salary work is not reliable. And I think they might get comfortable with that paycheck going in every single month, and they might think, do you know what, this is actually better than this is what I need more than this. They might need the security. So I think it's either going to come out a bit where everyone's going to be desperate and everyone's going to be a sound engineer because they've took loads of courses, or there's going to be not enough engineers to cope with the work that's going to come out. But yeah, as it happens, it's a bit worrying at the moment, I think.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Well put together there.
Apparently, I think pretty good, but